Okay, there we are. Good morning, everybody. Going to call the meeting to order at 8:01. Is there any public waiting to get in, Bill? No? Okay. All right, so let's start with the minutes from the February meeting. Can I get a motion to approve and then we can discuss if there's any changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the
Thank you.
minutes.
Thank you, Jens. Second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Amanda. Okay, so any discussion, anything that needs to be changed or added or? No? Okay, so then I'm gonna call the order. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstain? Okay, unanimous. Okay, commissioners, so Amanda's joined us. We still have one slot open, so keep your eyes peeled for anybody else. I think the diversity of the group is improving in terms of perspective and experience that they bring to the table. So we just want to continue to try to find somebody else that's going to add value to the group. Does anybody have anyone in mind that they want me to follow up with?
No, finally landed Amanda. That was the only one I had in mind.
Yes,
Thank you.
successful. All right, so just keep your eyes peeled, right? It just 5 is where we really need to be. Okay, on the finance side, the 2024-25 budget, which if you remember, our fiscal year is July 1 to June 30th. So we are in the last quarter of our budget. For the first time in a long time, we are going to be really close. I'm worried we may actually go over budget. So Laura and I will be how we kind of keep things tight the last 3 months. We had a lot of videographer time this last month, but it is budget season, so that's part of the reason. So, we're just gonna be keeping an eye on that. On the 25-26 budget request, we presented to the first selectman, went to the Board of Finance, and I asked, since we had some revised numbers, to up the budget by $80-something $100, which the Board of Finance did approve. So from a capital standpoint, we're where we need to be. First Selectman didn't make any other cuts to our budget. So next up is Town Council. I've been alerted that the hearing schedule is April 23rd and 24th. That's just sort of word of mouth. I don't have anything official. So, Bill, you haven't seen anything, have you?
No, nothing's set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, once I know exactly when we have to present to Town Council, I'll let you know, but that'll be in the next few weeks. And hopefully they'll keep everything intact. Any questions or comments? Okay. So I think they have to finish the budget by sometime in May, Bill? Yeah, like mid-May or something. Okay, so Laura's not here, but she did give me an update on programming, so I'm just gonna sort of read from the notes that she sent over to me. She notes under general programming, the budget season is almost over, so there'll be more adult education programming coming up. They already have several programs in the can that she'll be able to put on the air. Spring sports starts this week. There's lots of games: baseball, softball, volleyball, lacrosse. Our perennial favorites, the spring concert season starts at the end of April at the school, so we'll be covering those. The Trumbull High graduation planning meeting will be after April break. Because Laura has a graduate this year, she's going to have Matt or Garrett produce, but I expect, Jens, you'll be part of that team as well. And she wanted to make a note of a big thanks to Jens for his daytime coverage of things, because we really lost that ability when Richie passed. So having somebody that's available during the day to record things is, it just gives us more variety of programming. So thank you, Jens. On original programming, the Trumbull Health Department came in to record a short video about home sewer safety. Very exciting, but probably an important topic, so we'll see that on the air soon. Anything, Jens, you want to mention from your recording experience?
Well, they call me the other old guy over at the senior center. So, and I am a target audience over there, but we've had there's been some excellent shows, the Yale a cappella group, the jazz trio, and there's just tons of interesting stuff going on. So one thing I noticed is when I'm excuse me, when I'm out recording, nobody knows how to get to it. You know, where can we see this? I said, you can see it on Trumbull Community TV. So I'm wondering if we should get a slide. Let's say it's a presentation at the library. We get a slide, a final slide that has a QR code or something that tells people where they can go and see the recording. Nobody seems to know where they can see it. And I did check with the senior center. The front office knows where they can go, but nobody asks them. So I don't know if we can do something to promote ourselves better, you know, when we're out filming. That's been on my mind for a while. Now you bring it up.
So where would the opportunity for a slide with a QR code present itself? Is there
we could ask the presenter to insert it, send them a slide and insert it, or we could have I don't know. At the library, they always introduce the person doing the presentation, obviously, but never, not once, and I've recorded quite a few shows, not once has Trumbull Community TV been mentioned as part of this. So it would be nice to get we know the people at the senior center at the library. We know the people who have set these events up, and maybe we should give them a script to say, you know, before the event, when they or maybe even before they introduce the presenter, they introduce Trumbull Community TV.
Okay, who wants to take a crack at writing that? Amanda?
Yeah, I could take care of that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jens, do they come up to thank them at the end?
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay.
But that would be a nice add-on, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind doing it because you know they're friendly people in both locations.
Okay.
So I see what you're getting at. That would be an excellent idea.
Yeah, just at the end to wrap up that it will be available, and okay, I'll write something up, Kate.
And then the QR code would take them to our website for video on demand.
Wherever, Amanda knows more about that.
Yeah.
But that we could permanently put in both the library and the senior center, right? Couldn't we put
on the wall, you mean? Or something?
A poster, yep.
Yeah, a poster.
Yeah, we could do that.
It says, you know, if something was taped by TCTV, this is where you go to look to watch it.
Yep.
That would be an excellent an excellent feature to have, because people are really interested. You know,
do we need to add some instructions on what they do once they get to our page, how to go to video on demand and the steps you go through to find what you're looking for? Or is that?
I don't know if any of you use the website on a regular basis. I haven't really, you know, been on. I've kind of gone in and looked for certain things, but I find it extremely difficult to navigate.
Hence the need for instructions.
Yeah. I think, well, it depends, because some of the recordings get filed over under government, like the senior center meeting over at the senior center, that goes under government. And then you have the music events, they go in a different location. So you really need to send them to kind of the highest level where they can navigate down. And I find that a little bit difficult to work out. But conceptually, I think that's a good idea. The presenters always ask, when can I see this? Because they're very interested in, you know, I wouldn't say promoting themselves as such, but they do it out of self-interest and, a combination of self-interest and community service that they show up with their slides. There's one thing I want to mention, the Irish famine meeting presentation. They're still arguing between Quinnipiac University and the Hunger Museum in Fairfield. They're still arguing about who owns the slides. So I haven't been able to get them. They're still working on getting permissions from different people. So I think in the invites, when we tell, or when the library set up events, or when the senior center set up events, they need to tell the presenters that we expect slides and they will be recorded, because sometimes I show up and they have no idea that they're going to be recorded. And some of the presenters are, need a little bit of persuasion.
Have you talked to Laura about that?
I brought it up once, but we never got to discuss it. But that's certainly something I would like to add.
Okay. It would help if she were on the call, so I'll have to make the notes and
Yeah,
talk to her about it.
I'll talk to her about it next time. But those are the things I've noticed. That's what I've noticed. So the interest is pretty high. A lot of people come up and ask, where can they see it? And, I don't have anything to hand out to them. But as Amanda mentioned, a QR code on a wall or on a slide would be great.
Okay, so maybe
sorry, I was just going to chime in. So this is the website, and there's actually two pieces to the website. There's the website, and then there's the video on demand system. So when you hit the website, you press watch now, and you can either get to the YouTube channel or the video on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're here, this is video on demand. It's not the website, even though it's integrated on the website. And to your point earlier, Jens, government meetings are here, adult education, musical performances. So they're categorized by event. And then if you wanted, obviously the most recent events are always leading.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to see something else, you click show all, and then it shows everything that's in that musical performance category. I don't know what we can do on this end. This is all what Lara manages, but
yeah. There's one thing I meant to mention. If you go back to you see the bottom line, third row, where it says presentation of proposed senior and community center plans.
Right.
If you try to play that, you'll notice that the quality is really bad. No, it's not. What happened? Okay, when I looked at it, if you try to play it, oh, there we go. You can hear it, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good here.
No, but when you play it, you'll find that the sound is off by 1.5 seconds. The audio is off by 1.5 seconds.
Is that
Okay. Yeah,
just this or everything?
So this is the video on demand system, or this is what the recording in the. Well, I don't even know how you guys recorded this.
I recorded it with a high definition cinema
So
camera.
this would be Lara when she does the post processing, because there's the title here. So
then if you go back to the music section, that's on a different. Try Abe, the jazz guitarist, on the next one. Try to play that. That's bad too. But the thing is, these are really. I recorded this with 2 cameras, and the quality just isn't there. So I think I don't want to put it on the programming, or we put it on the technical section, but at some point, and this VOD player is old. Everyone recognizes it. They refer to it as legacy VOD, and we obviously don't have funds, or I'm assuming that we would have to ask for funds to replace it. But the quality is just absolutely. I mean, if you try yourself, go there and just whenever when the meeting is finished, just try to look up something from the the town hall meetings. The quality is not good. And I've only realized it after I started using the system. I don't know how many of you are using it on a regular basis or are aware of how it works. But it could do with a little bit of tightening up.
Well, we're gonna have to figure out what we can do without replacing equipment, because we do not have that in our budget.
I realize.
Is it the same on our YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is pretty good. I say pretty good. I mean, the YouTube channel is good. 1080p, good quality.
Okay, so have you been in a conversation with Laura? Because it's kind of hard for me because she's not here
No,
to
it's
know
only
what she knows and what she doesn't know.
It's only when in this case, both the Yale a cappella and the jazz trio were asking where they could find the stuff, and I referred them. I had to find it on the website, and I referred them to it. And that's really the first time, to be honest, that I've used the system to try to find something. And
so, do we know if it's those two programs, or have you looked at, because we got to understand the scope of the issue, right? Is it everything? Is it so I think what I'm going to do is ask you and Laura to be in a conversation, because there's two things here. One is, how do we promote what we're doing and make sure that the presenters know what we're expecting, what to expect and what we're expecting.
Yeah.
And then the separate issue is the quality of the video in the VOD. So if I could ask you and Laura to have that conversation, because we really need to understand the scope of this problem.
Oh, we will. I emailed her last week when I discovered the problem. And, we'll try to find out if we can do anything about it. Now, the VOD player is old, but there are, open source alternatives. So maybe we don't need to ask for money if we have the hardware available. So I'll talk to Laura about it and then come up with a summary, what we find.
Okay. And then Amanda, you will work with Laura on I think we need a couple of things. One is an intro script for library and senior center and a close. To say, at the end, reminder, you can see this on TCTV, we need this poster. And we need, that can also be a slide to put into the presenter, but I think we also need a handout. That's a mini version of the poster, right?
Okay.
That
Yep.
says,
Yeah, so
QR code, and here's the instructions on how to find it.
okay.
And
Bill,
so,
are there specific guidelines in terms of QR code creation for the town, or like anybody I'm supposed to, there's so many free ones out there. I just don't know. I want to make sure I use something.
Yeah, we don't have any real
Okay.
guidelines or use for QR.
Okay, awesome.
okay, and then we're gonna make sure that Laura is clarifying when she sets up the coverage that they're gonna tell the presenter that it's being taped. They're gonna ask the presenter to make sure they give us access to the slides so we can integrate it into the program later.
Yep.
Okay, cool, great. All right, so moving on to more technical stuff. So the studio control room is in good shape. She said the head end room is still using multiple power strips to keep the servers running. The UPS that Pietro brought was not powerful enough to handle what TCTV requires. Jeff, do you know what that means?
The UPSs that we had that we use for our servers have a 220 volt 30 amp connector. So it's got like a round connector that you click and twist. They don't have those outlets in the studio server room. So the only UPS we had was a 110, which I believe Pete told her would be enough to do the server and maybe one other appliance. But I think she felt if you couldn't back everything up, then just keeping the server up without the other equipment wasn't gonna be of value to her. So that's kind of what happened.
That's fair enough, I think.
So do we need another UPS? I mean, what's the solution?
Well, I believe when we discussed this last time, when you had the list of the equipment that they were gonna provide, a UPS was
This
part
is
of it.
one of them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if not, and if that isn't the case, we could try to have facilities, maybe put it, I can talk to John Morello and see if he could put that other electrical connector in there so we can use one of the more powerful UPSs, but I don't know if you're already planning to replace them anyway, then that might be quicker than by the time I get them there to redo the electrical.
Yeah, I think we should wait until we see what
Yeah.
town council does,
Yeah.
right? If there's gonna be an issue, then we may need to move with your
Yeah.
solution, but it's definitely part of the package we're asking for.
Yes, and on that note, just to keep in mind, they're over April break on that Monday, they're gonna be cutting the power again. So I don't know if Laura wants to go in there prior to that and gracefully shut everything down. Or
So that is when is that week?
that's gonna be Monday, April 14th. That morning, they're gonna cut the power for like 4 hours.
Like next week, next Monday?
Yes,
All right.
because there's some transfer in the generator that's not working properly, so they gotta cut all the power to that section of the building and work on the generator.
Do you know what time that's happening?
I believe that's gonna be early AM, like 6, 7 AM in the morning.
Because she's on a band trip right
Band
now.
trip.
It does get back
Yeah.
till Friday, so is she gonna be able to get in the building over the weekend to shut everything down properly?
I can check. I believe the building would be open. I
She's
mean, the
already-
building's,
Is
I
it
think
this coming Monday?
Yes.
yes, the 14th.
So
Yep.
yeah. So
I mean, if we can get access, I can go in. I can check with Laura what needs to be shut down.
You could get in before 6 on Monday?
Well, I'll see what that looks. I'll see what that feels like. You mean 6 in the morning?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can. Not that I do often, but sure.
yeah, I mean, I don't wanna shut the station down before we have to.
No, I can
Right.
be there. I'll talk. So did Lara already leave for?
Yeah, she's in Dayton already.
Okay, I'll talk to her. So yes, I'll be there before 6.
Perfect, yeah, please.
I mean, I'm assuming that generator does touch that portion of the building, because the last time they worked on this, that's when she had to go and power everything back up, and, so I'm assuming that's why everything was powered off, so. Because it doesn't shut the whole building down, but I believe it does affect that portion of the building.
Jeff, are you around for this? I mean, it's a holiday.
My network administrator, Pete, is gonna actually be in the building at 7:30.
Okay, and how long is the shutdown for?
Well, this is through facilities. They said they're given a 4-hour window. But it really depends. Last time it was 4 hours, but it dragged on longer because whatever part the generator repair company brought didn't work, so they were trying to get another part, so it ended up being 6 hours. But
Okay.
the window they're giving us is 4 hours.
All right, I live 5 minutes away. It's not a problem. I'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you, Jens. Okay, she says Sling Studio products are still working. Her PC has been crashing while she's been using Word.
I believe, I thought Patrick re-imaged her computer.
Okay, I will check on that.
Yeah, follow up with her and just have her contact me if that's still the case. Because I know he was working with her to re-image her computer. Because he was trying to make sure he had the right version of Adobe and other things she need.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
And then I think we referenced before that at the Board of Ed meeting on the 8th, a Windows systems update affected the vMix. issues during the board meeting, recording at the end, by the end of the day, the recording is not salvageable, so we have figured out, I believe, what needed to be done. And the town council board of ed meeting that was, I think, last night in Long Hill went fine. Bill, would that be accurate?
Yeah, that's correct. So what's today? Today's Thursday. So Tuesday night's meeting, in the Long Hill Administrative Building, about half an hour into the meeting, somebody in the meeting said they were receiving text messages from people who were watching the live stream or attempted to watch the live stream, and they were receiving no audio. So, well, I went to go check that, and then I think Michelle Mermina messaged Lara, and then Lara messaged me, and turns out from DNR that there was a Windows update that was installed that caused the vMix to not accept the audio or not pass the audio through successfully. So the local recording did not have audio for that meeting, and the YouTube live stream did not. Zoom was working fine, so I was able to start recording halfway through the meeting. So we have like maybe 20-25 minutes of it, but that was resolved Wednesday morning by DNR. They checked both the town hall side and the Long Hill Board of Ed side to make sure everything was working for last night's meetings.
Go ahead, Jens.
No, was this installed automatically, or did DNR come in and do the update?
I'm pretty sure that was an automatic install.
Because, I mean, we should disable that.
They did say that other clients that had the same problem.
Yeah, so can we disable automatic update?
I don't know that we can do it, but we can certainly ask to have DNR
Oh,
look at that.
Yeah,
It's on the vMix server, so I guess
it's
we could do it if we were sitting in front of it and turn it off.
it's a constant nightmare with anything that runs on Windows. If you have it in a corporate environment or enterprise environment, that you in a lot of cases an automatic update is bad news. Well, not a lot of cases. Occasionally it's bad news. So I think we should disable the automatic upgrade and then get DNR to advise us when there's an upgrade we need, because they would have heard from their customers.
Okay, so how do we execute that suggestion?
I can email Don and just say, based on our experience on Tuesday, we'd like to disable automatic updates. Because these updates, I mean, Jeff and Bill, you know more about it than I do, but they're typically security patches and things like that. They're not, which is important, but they're not functional. It's not as if it'll stop working if you didn't install these patches or upgrade.
Bill or Jeff, opinion?
Oh, and I agree. We could also see what version of Windows they're running, because if they do the LTSC, I believe they don't update as frequently,
Yeah.
and that might be less troublesome. And we may want to, unless there's a major security, because you don't want to not patch it all, because then you're going to be vulnerable. But
Right.
maybe see if we can have them take it off, and we'll just do it, monthly or so, something where it isn't going to get an update the day before a recording that could potentially mess it up. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll email Don and copy you guys
Okay.
And make sure
if he has any
Laura is,
recommendation.
because we need to know whether DNR has to do it, whether we can do it, they're disabling ourselves, blah, 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 right?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
The
I
one
have-
meeting Laura misses, we have all this.
I have a quick item for the technical portion. We discussed all three items, didn't we?
Yep.
It's about the library. I copied Kate and Laura on this email because the projector at the library is not a really powerful one, so it's really difficult to record it with a camera, especially because the light in the room has to be turned way down in order for people to see the monitor. So you can't really see the presenter because the light is so bad. So there is a system in the kitchen of the library where everything goes through. so the signal to the projector goes through there. And what I was asking DNR to provide, or if they could provide, was an HDMI out in the kitchen so we could record the projector, if you know what I mean. So it would be an HD quality signal, or maybe it's a 720p. I don't know, but whatever the projector resolution is. So we would record that on a separate recorder, and then when we edit the presentation, we have two camera feeds. One is from the projector, and the other one is from the camera in the room that focuses on the presenter. So it's a multicam clip, and we can switch back and forth between it. And DNR have offered to look into this free of charge because we're a good customer, etc. So I don't know who is Jeff and Bill, are you involved with the library as part of the Trumbull school system, or is it separate?
The library falls under the town side.
Okay.
So that would, I mean, DNR came in, they just recently did that project.
At the library?
Correct.
Okay. So do I need to talk to someone at the town before requesting changes to? I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Just loop me in, and I'll loop Stefan in.
Okay,
so he knows.
excellent.
So,
but I mean, it's a totally simple, or should be a totally simple thing. You know, the feed for the projector comes through that box, and we want to tail out that we can record from. It will also negate the issue of people bringing their slides or emailing their slides, because we will have recorded everything. So it's an FYI, and I'll keep you in the loop, Bill.
Just want to keep Stefan, the library director guy, in the loop, right?
Yeah,
What's
I know
happening?
I know Stefan. Another quick thing, the lighting at the library is absolutely horrible. So when we invite like a cappella
Well,
group,
I was just in there, and there are multiple lighting options on that panel.
no, Kate, I'm talking about the positioning of the spots in the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
One of them points straight at the wall. One of them points straight down. Somebody, it would be nice to get the facilities director of the library to adjust the lights the way they were meant to be, because they're really all over the place. And one side of the stage is lit up and the other side is not. So
we need to go through Stefan for that as well, I assume.
I'll talk to him.
Okay, you've got a long to-do list here, Jens.
I'm not doing anything else at the moment. So,
Okay.
well, I'm in a meeting right now, but otherwise.
Okay. This is all in the community room.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, anything else? Okay, again, according to Laura, she reached out to Mike McHugh to try to help Amanda and hasn't heard anything back yet. Amanda, I don't know if that's, I mean, I'm assuming it's accurate.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him at all. So, I'm fine working with him if he's available. That's great. And if not, if something else has come up, I can do what I need to do. It's not a problem.
Okay. All right, well, we'll continue to try to find somebody for you, but I think we can get this other project going. I think it's a good idea to be promoting ourselves at the events that we'll cover.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, and then the last of Laura's notes was on the THS connection that a few students came in to start getting accustomed to the equipment, and they did a test run, everything worked well. And Jeff was aware that she was out this week, and then I guess next week, the week before Easter is spring break, right? Okay. And that was the extent of her report. Is there anything else you need to cover? Any new business or old business or questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay, good. All right, that got a lot to to do here, and I think it's, I really love the perspective you brought, Jens, from being at these shoots on how we can raise our visibility there.
Yep.
Those would be two good places to make people more aware of what we're doing and how they can use it. I definitely want to try to address the quality of the VOD audio. That we got to address.
I'll talk to Lara about it, how it works. But I mean, it is an old system, but maybe we can do something. I don't know. We'll find out.
We need, that has not been on our list. Well, I think it was on our two-year.
No, but
list.
I don't know. I mean, if you guys have used the system, I'm sure you will have noticed that the audio is out of sync and there's some other issues that.
But is the out of syncness something we can address at the post-production phase, or it's a matter of the hardware and software technology we have?
It's a matter of the hardware and software. We could deliberately make the video and audio out of sync to an extent that matches the out of sync that the system introduces, so that it would fit. But that just seems, that it's just going to be too complicated. It's not worth doing.
All right, well, if you and Laura can talk about it some more,
We'll
see what we have, what options we have to address it.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have questions, comments, anything else? Ooh, we move fast today. Okay, so our next meeting is May 22nd. Remember, we're at a 6-week gate there, and then I think the focus of that will be Trumbull High graduation. So making sure everything's going to work well without Laura at the helm. So,
Kate,
Jens, I'm
before
definitely adding you to that. I'm sorry.
Kate,
Yeah.
sorry, before the next meeting, I will send out to everybody the social media strategy that I've been putting together.
Cool.
And I've just been trying to pull metrics from a couple different places and determine kind of what our insights and our metrics are right now. So we'll know how to grow it.
Super. That sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm excited for that. Okay, Vince, anything for you? Jeff, you good? Jens, anything else?
I've taken enough time.
Valuable stuff. Really appreciate the perspective you're bringing. Bill, how about you? Your favorite committee of all time?
No, I think we got through the issue at the Board of Ed the other night, and yeah, things are okay.
That's good.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you guys all for your input and commitment, and I will call the meeting adjourned at 8:38 a.m. Everybody have a great weekend, a great break or Easter following weekend, and we'll see you in May.
See you in May.
All right.